What's up, Lorehounds? It's Cooper here. I'm here with Jacob of Wargaming. We are checking out Master of Orion. It's coming to your PC soon, also on Mac, SteamOS, and stuff like that. So what's new for us here?
Cool. Well, we're actually starting Early Access 3 this week. So if you've been part of the Early Access campaign, this week we're delivering our last two races to be race complete and feature complete with our content. So those two races are going to be the Silicoids and the Darlocks. The Darlocks come with espionage, and the Silicoids come with some really cool, unique bonuses to their race traits. We've added also an additional economic victory condition, which I can show you, which brings us to all 5 victory conditions. And like I mentioned, we've got all the races for Master of Orion. So it's a really momentous day for us to be able to bring this phase of early access.
Yeah, I mean, that's quite a bit you're adding in for this next phase of early access. What have you guys, as we're loading up here, have you guys really learned from the earlier phases that you're incorporating?
Look, it's been validation and a lot of learning, right? So this is a very nostalgic IP, right? Like Master of Orion 2's 20th anniversary is this October. So it's been a long time, and the challenge for us has been, how to bring back an IP to the modern times, to maintain the depth, to maintain the complexity, and to be able to engage new users as well as old users, and that's a challenge, right?
It seems like it's easy, but it is so much of a challenge because you got to realize the difference in game design from 20 years ago to now. Stuff that was acceptable then, maybe because just technology, is no longer acceptable now. Like load screens, right?
Yeah,
like if
exactly.
it's
20 years ago, we chewed on a lot of glass to have fun with games, right? Like
that's why I know computer programming, right? Rewriting INIs and
that was acceptable, right? And we put up with that. And now it's, I need to be able to do things in 1 click or 2 clicks. And like, good Lord, with a game like this, with the 4X strategy depth that we bring to the table, that's been a real challenge. And so what we've learned through early access is a couple of really wonderful things. First, that people really care. We've got a super passionate audience. We've got a bigger audience than we anticipated for early access, talking about how well we've done with that, and our recommended ratings on Steam and GOG are both very good for an early access product. So, we know that we're doing as good as we can do. It's an interesting balancing act to be able to maintain keeping old players happy and encouraging new players to try a new product for them because they're not familiar with the IP.
Yeah, and new players out there may not realize 4X games were actually the cream of the crop. They were the biggest genre, arguably, back when they were popular, mid-90s probably. And then, they kind of got relegated to niche as people went more straight action and MMOs and all those kind of things. But are you seeing that while it's still maybe labeled as a niche, it's getting more mainstream?
Yeah, and that's certainly something that we're interested in trying to achieve with this product, right? Like, there is a core audience of 4X gamers. That's who we built this game for. But we didn't want to limit it, right? We didn't want to forget the ability to bring on new players or bring on a first-person shooter player or an MMO guy or somebody who's just only ever played Civ, right? Or Gal Civ or whatever it might be. Like, those are great products. That's a great audience. We need to appeal to a wider audience. And so that's been a challenging thing to do.
All right, let's check it out.
All right, cool. So I'm loading up here. We'll just load up a new game. Wanted to show you a couple of the new races. So the Silicoids are a very interesting race. You'll see over here their racial traits. They don't actually consume food, and they don't need it to grow their population. And in a 4X game, that's a huge deal, right? So
that's quite a difference.
Yeah, so, they also turn volcanic planets into inferno planets. So they've got an uber planet perk. They don't need food. They can settle radiated planets. They can settle toxic biomes, all sorts of different things.
So what's their drawback? Like, how are you balancing that?
They're rocks, right? They don't think.
So they're what? Okay, like they're dumb and slow?
Yeah, they're dumb, slow, they smash, and they smash well. So, there are drawbacks for sure. I think diplomacy is something that just doesn't exist for them.
Probably should have tried the diplomacy route with them.
They're going to grunt at you and then come with mini ships.
Trading probably wouldn't work that well either because they don't care about food, so money's probably not right. Like,
and I think it might be interesting to talk about with them later down the road with the economic victory to see how that works. Because they're so big right now in this game I'm about to show you that they're pushing owning the majority of the GDP in the economy. So it's pretty interesting. You know, the other race that brings us to be race complete based on Master of Orion 1 are the Darlocks. And a lot of people have been waiting for this. And along with the Darlocks comes the espionage feature, which is super cool. Espionage is one of my favorite things to play right now. Mostly because I'm kind of a griefer player, right? Like I want to cause chaos. And these guys can do it. You can see that there are race traits. Their assimilation power, their security, their mission duration, which I'll explain in a second, and they've got stealth ships, which is pretty dang useful. So these guys are really cool, and a point to make about early access is you can see that these guys, this guy has 5 race traits. We look at the silicoid guy, he's got 6 race traits. One of the earliest points of feedback was all these races feel the same. Like, come on, you have to differentiate this. Like, this isn't Master of Orion, you know, the Buecler should feel different than the human.
They're too homogenized.
Yeah, and it was a great point of feedback, and so we reacted to that, and I think we reacted well and created a really unique experience for players to make different choices. So,
really, the leader of the silicoid is igneous?
It's random.
Oh, okay.
Let's go here. So I'm going to load a game to show you where we are with this playthrough on espionage. So this playthrough has taken some time to get done. Last night I was working on it. Like I said, early access 3 launches today, so we're working on new builds constantly. So now's a good time to look at what the spies look like. First, just a real quick view of the galaxy. All the races are still here except for the Cylons. They got crushed by the silicoids. So I'm going to go into showing you what happens with the spies. So currently this spy is on Torino Prime, which is a soccer colony, and I've unlocked all of the paths for the things that I can do, specifically for this demo so I can show you. But you can see that it's a tree. The first step is to acquire data. That's going to take X amount of turns based on how skilled your spies are. Then you can move to infiltrate cybercrime, agronomy, trade unions, or diplomacy. And from each of those, you have 2 actions that you can choose to take. So real quick, going over the hacking one stops research being developed for 10 turns. It's pretty massive when you're trying to get some things done. Stealing is super great because when you're making choices in the research tree, let's say you get fusion reactor for faster travel, or you get fusion missiles, and I pick the missiles. And let's say a non-spacefaring, like independent planet asks me for the one I didn't get. They want to make a deal, they want to pay me, they want to vote for me. I'll go steal that technology from somebody else and then give it to them and get paid. So it's
effectively at both.
Yeah, it's a very cool little core loop mechanism that we've got. In the economy, you've got famine, which, let's see, cancels the food supplies from population structures for 10 turns, similar to the hacking one, but for the food line. And contaminate can actually affect the population growth and population in general. So the trade unions is fun because you can strike, which striking guys is great. If you can strike a whole planet, like, they're getting nothing done. Yeah, exactly.
And a lot of these are, you know, one of the choices has been 10 turns. That's quite an impact.
Yeah, it is impactful, and it also brings the point of why you should really be investing in security in the research tree, because you can. There's lots of different options to increase your security, and it's worth doing. I have friends talking to me who are playing the early access build, like, oh my god, everything keeps getting stolen. I'm like, well, you should
maybe you should stop that.
You should go work on your security, man. Like, there are solutions for this. So destabilize the diplomacy spy actions are some of my favorites. Destabilize is really good. Like, you can take John Delancey as the leader of the human. He voices the humans, and he's super diplomatic. I like messing with him and forcing him to go to war with people that he was originally very friendly with. Yeah. Or revolt. Revolt's one of my favorites, and that's what I'm going to show you next, because revolting can stop a planet from belonging to a race. The colony basically secedes and stops doing anything until they get taken over. So I'm going to show you that real quick. Let's close that and move a couple turns in. So I spend a lot of time with this playthrough getting spies fast. So in this next turn, you'll see that I've got a new spy in my spy base, and he's ready to go. I'm going to...
So you weren't kidding when you said you set this up for a while. You're on turn 300 something.
Yeah,
I saw.
I spent time, man. We got to have a cool experience, and this is what the game is, right? So I've already had a spy get deported from Mark Hamill's race, the Alkari. he said, please don't send any spies. I said, sure, no problem. I'm not going to send any more spies, but I am. This is just telling me that I'm going to breach that treaty, and he's not going to be pleased.
Assuming he catches you.
Yes, which my spies are kind of clumsy. I invested in more spies, not really good spies. You can play it differently if you'd like, but for me, that's the way I rolled this time.
You go the blanket approach.
Yeah,
one of these will stick.
They're all gonna die eventually. So let's see here. Mission success. This is a really cool thing. Juliet has succeeded with revolt of the home planet for the Sakura. So their home world has revolted. Now all I've got to do is take some troops, take down their defenses, and their home planet's mine. And that comes intact with the race traits. That comes intact with the biome that they've transformed. Yeah, so I'll show you which one this is. That's not that one. It's this homeworld of theirs. So it's 14 and 14 pop. It's making money. It's got a ton of defenses and a bunch of buildings. All right, so what we've got to do next to take over this planet is we're going to take our fleet to manage this defenses, and we're going to take our troops to invade. So I'm going to get a couple turns through. Inevitably, there will be some things that pop up along the way. Oh, good. They're going to arrive all at the same time. The Mershon know that I'm making a hole there, and they're trying to
come right behind.
Yeah, they are. New spy is ready. He's going to hold. So let's get these guys. Looks like 1 or 2 more turns. Alright. They have arrived. So when I attack this planet, I know that these are the defenses that I have to deal with. As soon as I'm through those defenses, then I can land my troop transport. So I'm just going to click auto resolve to get through this. Hopefully these ships will survive. Should be no big deal. The star bases do decent damage, that's for sure. Alright, we're good. Now I'm going to attack that colony, and here I can see what they've got going. They've got a couple armored barracks, a bunch of structures. They've only got 4 Marines. I'm going to drop 2 transports. I'll deploy those guys. Their Marines are done. So at this point, I click back, and oh man, that's my planet now. And it's stacked full of little alien guys that are ready to help me out. So like that's a really cool way to show the depth and the ability that, you know, infiltrating and using our spy mechanics and espionage can provide instant value in this game.
Yeah, and like how easily, instead of taking, decades of turns to get through, you're able to, undermine them and then just quickly move your troops in.
Yeah, and, obviously it took 330 turns to set that up, so it wasn't instantaneous, but at this point in the game, I don't want to blow it all up and rebuild it. I want it to be mine the way it is.
All right, so that's one of the latest features added to Master of Orion, which is coming soon, TM. And we just launched the latest early play, right?
Yeah, early access. Our early access 3 launches today, where this race is available, and you can go have fun doing this.
Thanks so much, Jacob.
Yeah, thank you.